right.
So I went over several things pertaining to the Sabbath day. Today is the actual Sabbath day. Okay, it's the 7th day of the week. It begins Friday at sundown to Saturday sundown. Okay, there are certain laws that we have to keep on the Sabbath day. No cooking, no buying, no selling, and bearing no burdens on the Sabbath day. And we have to come together and congregate. Okay, now I'm getting ready to show her, and I'm going to show you too, what's the benefit in that and the power behind keeping the Sabbath day holy. Okay, so read this again.
Romans chapter 7 verse 14. For we know that the law is spiritual.
The law, God's laws are spiritual. And I'm going to show you the spirit behind keeping the Sabbath day. What day of the week do we normally get paid?
Friday.
We get paid on Friday, right? When does God's Sabbath begin?
It begins on Friday.
Friday at sundown, right? Most of our people, we get off Friday, we go cash our check, right? Why do you think they chose to pay us on Friday?
Bring it up.
It is the beginning of Sabbath.
Because it begins the Sabbath. Okay. When do our people do most of their shopping?
Fridays and Saturdays.
Fridays and Saturdays, right? Why are the other nations able to rule over us?
I think because of lack of knowledge.
Because we broke God's commandment.
That's right.
So the other nations rule over us because we break God's commandments. So wait a minute. They pay you on Friday. God's Sabbath day begins on Friday. We shop on Fridays and Saturdays. So by us committing that sin, the other nations are able to rule over us.
That's right.
That's the whole spirit behind it. They purposely pay you so you can break God's Sabbath day.
That's right.
That is spiritual. It's not by chance that that happens. If our people didn't shop on Fridays and Saturdays, it would destroy this economy. We are the #1 consumers.
Right.
It would destroy this economy. Go to 2 Corinthians 10 and 4. 2 Corinthians 10 and 4.
Bring it up.
We don't understand the power that we have simply in doing what God says. Read that. 2 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 4.
2 Corinthians chapter 10.
Read verse 3.
2 Corinthians chapter 10 verse 3. And for though we walk in the flesh, we do not war after the flesh.
So just because we're in flesh, just because we are walking as people, we're not necessarily at war against this flesh. Okay? Remember, God's laws is spiritual. Okay? So when we keep God's laws, we're not warring against this flesh. Read verse 4.
For the weapons of our warfare are not carnal.
So the things that we're fighting in this life, our weapons to battle that, okay, they're not carnal. Meaning we ain't getting guns, knives, things like that. We're not going to tear this kingdom down by might, by our strength, our physical strength. Our strength lies where? Read this.
But mighty through God.
Mighty through God. Powerful through God. Read.
To the pulling down of strongholds.
To the pulling down of strongholds. Does anybody know any examples of strongholds that's on our people?
Racism.
Racism. That's one. That's a stronghold. What's another one?
Death.
Death. That's a stronghold. Okay? Religion. Religions are a stronghold on our people.
That's right.
Because we can't, our people, for some reason, we can't seem to break free from white Jesus. That's a stronghold in our mind. The educational system. They call it the school to prison pipeline. That's a stronghold on our people. Sicknesses, diseases, these things are strongholds on our people. We don't realize that what? Read the next verse.
Casting down imaginations and every high thing that exalteth itself against the knowledge of God.
So all of these things exalt themselves against the knowledge of God. Okay? Religions, they exalt themselves against the knowledge of God. Why? Because religion can tell you that Christ is white when he's not.
That's right.
Religion will tell you that you can do whatever you want to. That you're just an African American, a Puerto Rican, a Dominican, a Haitian, a Jamaican. That's not biblical. That exalts itself against God. Okay? Now, I have a question for you, brother. You understand everything we brought to you, sis? I want to deal with this, brother, because the most important thing you can know on this earth is who you are and what's required of you. So we've told you who you are and some things that are required of you. I'm going to try to bring this brother up to speed, okay? If you can hang around, still hang around, okay? But I'm going to bring this brother up to speed, okay? So, what's your nationality, brother?
I'm spiritual. I study mysticism.
You're spiritual and you study mysticism. So who does mysticism tell you who you are?
I study the Egyptian teaching.
Okay, cool. So you study, you're into Egyptology, right?
Egyptology is not no study. I'm going on nature. That was the Egyptian study, nature.
Okay. Go to Wisdom of Solomon 13:1. Wisdom of Solomon 13:1. Who does the metaneta, what does that teach you about who you are? Does it show you history, prophecy, things like that?
I study metaneta is the spiritual aspect of my way of life. I study everything.
You have to be somebody, right? You are somebody.
I am
Who are you?
I am a God.
You're God.
I am a God.
You are a God. That's scriptural. You are a God. Are you living like a God?
Daily.
Huh?
Daily.
Okay.
Daily
So, can a God...
Daily I strive to
Do you have a job?
Yes, sir.
God's work?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Gods have to get up and go to work. If you don't go to work, what happens?
You don't eat.
You're going to get fired, right?
You don't eat.
Do you think a God should have to work for somebody else to eat?
Bring it up.
Does that make sense?
No, but you got to call before you walk. You got to get your own business. But you got to call before you walk. You got to get your own business. But you got to call before you walk. You got to get your own business.
But you gotta call before you walk. You gotta get your own business.
But you got to call before you walk. You got to get your own business.
So gods have to work. Listen to what I'm saying.
Yes.
Gods have the power to change their circumstances, right?
Bring it up.
Do you have the power to change your circumstances living as you're living?
Bring it up.
I do.
You do. Okay. So how do you want to live? Do you want to be on the bottom of society?
No, never.
Do you want your people to be on the bottom of society?
They don't want to be themselves.
Can you change that?
I can't change it.
So then you're not a God.
That's right.
You're not living in a godly state.
Break it down to me.
I'm going to break it down to you. Read Wisdom of Solomon chapter 13 and verse 1.
Bring it up. Wisdom of Solomon, chapter 13, verse 1. Surely vain are all men by nature.
So it says, by nature, men are vain. Okay? We're living in a manly state right now. Okay? We're not in our godly state.
When they're in their lower self.
Okay? So it says, surely men are vain. Okay? Read.
Who are ignorant of God.
We're ignorant of God, and that's what makes us vain by nature. Because we're ignorant of God. We don't know the God of this Bible. We don't know the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. Read on.
And could not out of the good things that are seen know him that is.
So you said you study nature, okay? Because of our ignorance of God, we don't understand that the things that we saw came from him. We choose to go off into the metaneta and understand nature and how the trees grow and all of those things. But we don't give credit to God for making those things. You don't understand that God is the one who gave you all of that. Hold on, let me finish this, and then I'm gonna let you speak, okay?
Neither by considering the works did they acknowledge the workmaster.
So we don't consider that everything that was made, we don't give that acknowledgement to the Most High God for that. Why? Because we don't do what he says to do. That's how you acknowledge him. Okay? Now, what were you saying? What was your question?
Well, when you study nature, everything goes back to the one supreme source that governs all things in existence. So when you study nature, you becoming one with nature, you becoming one with the universe.
So what does nature tell you about how you're on the bottom?
The way our people think, the mindset, the action, the way they dress, the food they eat, the way they think, they ain't got nothing.
Bet. It's heavy that you said that. You said nature tells us that we're on the bottom because of how we eat, because of the way we dress, because of the way we carry ourselves, things like that, right? So now, we as a people, how are we supposed to carry ourselves? Give me Deuteronomy 10 and 12. How are we supposed to carry ourselves? What governs you on how to on how to carry yourself? Because our people, we do what we want to do. We go off our vain thoughts, right?
No.
Hold that. Give me Proverbs 3 and 5. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you what is supposed to dictate how we move, how we walk, Because we have the greatest instruction manual to life. We don't apply it, is the problem. Read that.
Proverbs chapter 3, verse 5. Trust in the Lord with all thy heart.
So, we as a nation of people, we don't trust in God. We have to trust in God with all our heart, meaning all our mind. Every ounce that we have in us, we should put that trust in the Most High God. Why? Because the things that He say, they happen.
That's right.
It comes to pass. Everything written in this Bible, it happens, bro. Everything. Okay? From birth until the moment you die. God knows and says what would happen to you. Whether you A, listen to Him, or B, whether you didn't. It's written in this Bible. So the scripture says what? Read it from the top.
Trust in the Lord with all thy heart, and lean not unto thy own understanding.
So we as a people, we can't lean into our own understanding. When we do that, that's what you see out here. Our people, we get shot down in the streets. What's the #1 killer of African Americans in this nation?
They dealing with their lower self.
What is it?
Lower self.
Dealing with our lower self? Be specific. What is the #1 thing that kills our people? The people on this sign. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans.
Ignorance.
Ignorance. Okay, that's a very good answer, but that's vague. That's very vague. What is it specifically that kills the #1? What's the #1 killer of our people?
Disobedience.
Abortions. Abortions. The #1 killer of our people. You know where abortions came from? Us leaning into our own understanding. That's where that came from. Because we don't trust in God. We kill more of our people than anybody else. Through abortions. Did you know the scripture said don't do that? But our people, we don't care about what God said. We do what? We lean into our own understanding. That's what you're bringing when you say I study nature. Because through your ignorance of God, your nature is to be evil. Without God, my nature is to be evil. Okay, read the next verse.
In all thy ways acknowledge Him.
So in everything you do, the way you walk, the way you talk, the way you dress, the things you eat, everything you do in life, acknowledge God. By doing what? Keeping His commandments.
That's right.
Read on.
And He shall direct thy paths.
So God is the one that's going to direct your paths. Do you think God would steer you wrong? You're His chosen people. Why would God steer His chosen people wrong? God lit up the pathway for you to walk. But we say, oh, I like that over there, so let me stray off. When you stray off of God's path, that's when you get shot down in the street. That's when we abort our kids. That's when we have our households out of order. That's the problem. We don't acknowledge God in all of our ways. Read the next verse.
Be not wise in thy own eyes.
So, in your own eyes, don't think that you have wisdom, because you don't. Our people think that, oh, I have all this knowledge. I came into all this wisdom. No, we don't have any wisdom. God gives us our wisdom. Read on.
Fear the Lord.
So fear God. Fear the judgment that will come upon you if you continue to break His commandments. Read on.
And depart from evil.
And every evil thing that you do, every evil way that you have, depart from it. Meaning turn back to righteousness. So it all leads back to this. What is your nationality? Because none of this Bible, from Genesis to Revelation, is going to matter if you don't know who you are. Because you don't see yourself in this book. This book was given to a specific nation of people. And if you don't know who you are in here, you don't know what applies to you. So who are you? Because you are somebody. What would you call yourself? What do you identify as? Look on that sign. Is your father from any one of those? Are you so-called African American, Jamaican, Haitian, Dominican, Puerto Rican, Mexican, Seminole Indian?
Truthfully, it's like my spirit always telling me that I'm from the Congo. My native started in the Congo, like all life and existence started in Congo, Africa, Congo Republic, Africa.
No, that's incorrect.
The oldest found fossil in the world was 4 million years old, was found in Ethiopia. That's the oldest found
Who did you learn that from?
You can read it anywhere.
You know what I read?
What you read?
The Bible.
That's right.
What did you read?
I studied
What
nature.
did you
I learned
read?
everything.
What did you read that led you to that knowledge?
The universe led it to me. The supreme source.
You said the supreme source?
Yeah. Knowledge is power.
Do you know what the
It's how you
supreme
apply.
source is? Okay, brother.
Yeah.
Let me explain something to you. Matter of fact, give me Ecclesiastes 12 and 12.
Bring it up.
Ecclesiastes 12 and 12, okay? I'm gonna show you something. Because our people, we like to dabble in this, we like to dabble in that, never really get into the truth. Never really get into the truth. Were your forefathers slaves?
Yeah.
Yes, right?
Yes.
What land?
America.
America, right? Did the Metanoia tell you that?
America is spiritual aspect.
I know, did your spirit tell you that?
I studied
Get
it.
out.
Yeah.
What? So
No,
your
hold on,
spirit,
hold
your
on.
spirit told you.
Hold on. First of all, like, truthfully, you know what I'm saying? I really don't know what happened back then. Feel me? I don't know about.
Look at this picture.
Like.
Look at this picture.
Like,
Is this something somebody drew, or is that a photograph?
That's a photograph.
That's a photograph. So do you take photographs of fake things? Or do you take, if I was to take a photograph of you right here, boom, tomorrow I'll put it up. Were you actually standing here? Yes, that's history. That would be history because it happened previously. So this picture right here, this is actual history. Did your spirit tell you that happened?
Bring it up.
That's a very simple question.
Yeah, I see it.
So you can see it, right?
I see it daily.
You see it. So where did you come to that information? Did your spirit just tell you that? Did you wake up one morning and say, boom, my people went into slavery? No, brother, no.
It was learned over time.
No.
It was learned over time.
Brother, read Ecclesiastes 12 and 12.
Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 12. And further, by these, my son, be admonished.
So the scripture says be admonished, meaning be warned, be aware. Read.
Of making many books, there is no end.
So, of making of many books, there's no end. So, there's billions of books on the face of this earth. It's on you to find out what is truth and what is not. There are many, many books on the face of this earth. Read on.
And much study is a weariness of the flesh.
So, when you study all of these different things, the Metanoia, the what is it, the laws of Ma'at, these different things. Hold on, let me finish my point and then I'm gonna let you speak, okay? It says it's a weariness of the flesh, meaning your spirit, you're gonna grow tired of doing all those things because you're constantly gonna be seeking for what's the truth. And it's gonna wear you down. Eventually, you're gonna get to a point where it's like, to hell with the truth. I don't even care anymore because I can't find it.
They ain't walking in the light. But hotel.
All right, now we'll just go ahead.
Truth. The Byzantine Romans, the Nicene Council, when they started, when the Byzantine Romans came to conquer Egypt, you know what I'm saying, to conquer the people. Our people always been spiritual. The Byzantine Roman and Nicene Council, the Constantine, they created the Bible to control our people off our original people teaching.
No, they did not create the Bible.
No.
They used the Bible, but they did not create the Bible. Now I have a question for you. Who are the Egyptians today? Since you keep saying Hotep, you keep saying you're spiritual, who are the actual Egyptians today? So how in the hell are you studying what?
It's been watered down.
Brother, that makes no sense.
You always got to eat the meat and spit out the bones. Didn't you just say that, right?
I didn't say nothing like that. Eat the meat and spit out the bones. I said nothing even remotely close to that.
You said,
brother, the Egyptians today
what's up?
are the Sudanese and the Watutsis.
Okay, the Sudanese.
I'm trying to teach you, brother.
Hotel.
Okay.
Give me Proverbs 28:1.
Bring it up.
Proverbs chapter 28:1, because this is the result of slavery. This is the result of you breaking God's commandments. You walk around screaming the whole time. You say you're a God, but you're living like a slave.
The wicked flee when no man pursueth.
So a wicked person is going to run down the street screaming Hotep because you don't want to change. We are here to build up our people. What part of that don't y'all understand? Everything we tell you, give me Galatians 4:16.
Bring it up.
Everything we tell you is for your benefit. We are out here to help build up our nation. We're here to tell you nothing but the truth, but you don't want to hear it. Read.
Galatians chapter 4, verse 16. I am therefore.
Read it from the top. Read it again.
Galatians chapter 4, verse 16. Am I therefore become your enemy because I tell you the truth?
So, am I your enemy because I'm sitting here telling you the truth? Does it make me your enemy because I say you're wicked and you need to change? I will stand here before you and tell you that I was once a wicked person. I was on the opposite side of these signs. But when my brothers came to me and said, look, this is what you're doing wrong, I humbled down and I changed. I don't see these men as my enemies. I see them as my brothers. Why? Leviticus 19:17.
Bring it out.
I see them as my brothers. Why? Because they're telling me nothing but the truth.
That's right.
Read.
Leviticus chapter 19, verse 17. Thou shalt not hate thy brother in thy heart.
So we're not supposed to hate our brother in our heart. Okay? We're not supposed to show hatred to our brothers. Since we've been up here, has anything seemed like hatred to our people? No. We've shown nothing but love for our people. We want to see you return to being the God you claim to be. We're trying to show you how to return to that godly state. We're trying to show you how to return to being a princess, to being royalty, to ruling this earth. Read.
Thou shalt in any wise rebuke thy neighbor.
So in any way, we're supposed to rebuke our neighbor, meaning correct you when you're going off.
That's right.
We're supposed to show you the error of your ways. Read.
And not suffer sin upon him.
And we're not going to allow you to stay in the midst of your sin. We're going to call you out on it. We're going to let you know you're in the midst of sin. Why? Because we stand bold in the words of God.
That's right.
Read on.
Thou shalt not avenge, nor bear any grudge against the children of thy people.
So we're not holding any grudge against y'all. If that brother was to come back right now and humble down, I'm not going to hold what he said and what he did against him. Because that's my brother. I love him. I'm going to correct him. Read.
But thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. I am the Lord.
So that's what we do. We love our neighbors just like we love ourselves. Because I don't want to die. I don't want you to die. So I'm going to tell you the things that you need to do to get out of that sin. Our people do not understand that. You give me Romans 13:11.
Bring it out.
Romans chapter 13, verse 11. And that, knowing the time, that now it is high time to awake out of sleep.
So, when are you going to wake up? When are you blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, so-called, because you are the Israelites, that's what God calls you, when are you going to wake out of sleep? How long are you going to sit at the bus stop sleep, not caring, not knowing who you are? Wake the hell up!
Shalom, Israel. I'm Elder Nathaniel, Israel United in Christ. YouTube likes to shut our channels down, as some of you have noticed, ever so often. Subscribing to join IUIC will assure you will always stay connected to our YouTube accounts. We want to do our best to make sure this truth gets out. Please click and join our subscriber YouTube channel called Join IUIC to stay linked to all of our videos. So again, please make sure you subscribe to this Join IUIC channel to get your latest updates from all our YouTube channels. Shalom.